But by the power of the resurrection, there comes a shift where that season ends. Right? We've been in the season of Lent. We've been talking about the cross. We've been talking about grief. We've been talking about death. We've been talking about pain and agony. And we just did the shift. Right? With Thursday night, we were here in a dark sanctuary, reflecting on Jesus' life and death. And today, the lights are on. The story continues and changes. Hope is alive. Weeping will end. The time of lament is over. Rejoicing is here. It's time for the birds chirping, the flowers blooming, warm breezes flowing. Jesus changes everything. For you, for me, for Mary. The resurrection is the greatest shift. From grief to celebration. From hurt to hope. And the question Jesus asked is, why are you crying? And that kind of established the problem that Mary was going through, the source of her pain. But then he asked a follow-up question and says, who are you looking for? Who are you looking? He points to from the pain and the problem to the person and solution. But the answer to Mary's despair is Jesus, the resurrected Christ. When Mary heard her name, that's when it clicked for her. When she heard Jesus calling her name, the same Jesus who called Lazarus out of the tomb and brought him from death to life, she heard the resurrected Jesus call her name Mary. And we heard her name when she recognized that that was the one she'd been looking for. Her plans had changed, not only for the weekend, but for her life. This was no gardener. This was God in the flesh. Jesus is alive. Your tears may have been different from Mary, but the answer to your problem is still the same. The resurrected Jesus. Friend, why are you crying? You may be in a difficult season, maybe things may be challenging, but the empty tomb reminds us that grief has an end. It's not a bottomless pit. Right? Sorrow may last for the night, but joy comes in the morning. The cross reminds us of God's love and forgiveness. And the tomb reminds us that victory was had over death. That Jesus had mastered death and also had life in his hands, life abundant to give. To you, to me, to Mary, to those who follow him. Death doesn't have a grip on Jesus. Jesus has a grip on life. Jesus left his grave cloths. If you read the scripture, it's kind of interesting. It talks about the cloths of his death, the burial things. They were all left in the tomb. Those didn't have any hold on him. Jesus had risen from the dead. He is alive.